left the gathering firmly believing that Byzantium was doomed to be absorbed by the Turks, and upon returning to Constantinople, he threw off Ottoman suzerainty and prepared the city for a long siege, one that would soon come, calling for help from the west. King Sigismund echoed Manuel's concerns, urging other Christian rulers to mobilize and drive the Ottomans out of Europe. The two popes in Rome and Avignon also encouraged a crusade against the Turks, although the Western Schism eroded any authority that the papacy had in calling for a crusade. Hungarian envoys traveled to all major European powers and, most importantly, confirmed treaties with England and France. The temporary cessation of hostilities in the long Anglo-French War freed up vast manpower and financial resources, and was crucial in enabling the West to form a multinational force. Duke Philip the Bold of Burgundy was the principal financier of the endeavour, and his son, John of Nevers, was given command of the Franco-Burgundian element. Europe's most advanced Mediterranean maritime power, the Republic of Venice, together with the Republic of Genoa, combined their fleets and joined the enterprise soon after, wanting to protect their lucrative trade routes and rich coastal outposts. From the island of Rhodes, the Knights Hospitaller pledged their support, having already been actively attacking Ottoman pirates and shipping in the Aegean, including the conquest of Smyrna some 50 years earlier. Wallachia and Bohemia joined too, as did the Teutonic Knights and various German princes, and warriors also came from the Kingdom of Naples, Aragon, Castile and Portugal, as well as the Swiss Confederacy, the Duchy of Savoy, Poland and Moldova. Contingents from across Europe set out towards the rendezvous point at the Hungarian city of Buda. Bayezid responded with a full-scale invasion of Wallachia, aiming to create another buffer state against the Christians and gain control over both banks of the lower Danube, a key strategic objective in the upcoming war. However, Voivode Mircea inflicted heavy defeats on the Ottomans in late 1394 and in the spring of 1395, but having suffered heavy losses himself, he was forced to retreat to Hungary, while Bayezid held on to most of his territorial gains, placing Vlad the Usurper on the Wallachian throne and installing additional garrisons along the Danube before retreating back to Adelna. By summer of 1396, the Franco-Burgundian and other Crusader contingents gathered near Buda. At a war council held in early July, the first order of business was to coordinate land and naval operations. The overwhelming naval superiority of Quarter was given, with many in the Ottoman vanguard falling within minutes, while the rest fled soon after. Meanwhile, the ongoing celebrations in Nicopolis angered some of the prominent French knights, who believed this to be a ruse to force the Crusaders to loosen the siege and array for battle, insisting that the Sultan would not dare attack such a large, concentrated force of Christian knights, superior in equipment, training, and experience. Furthermore, French nobles threatened to cut off the ears of anyone who discussed rumors of Bayezid's approach, arguing that it could damage the morale of the Crusaders. But the returning scouting party dispelled all doubts. Bayezid is coming. In frustration, King Sigismund demanded a war council. Their shock charge was at its deadliest. Arrow volleys simply bounced off, and the Akinjis were only able to string a few shots before the violent armoured charge swept them aside. Those that faced the French charge directly suffered heavy casualties, but managed to retreat back towards the infantry line, while the rest retreated towards the flanks. Soon, however, the knights encountered a line of sharpened stakes fixed into the ground to drive into the breast of the charging horses. This slowed down the Crusader advance, as some of the knights had to maneuver their horses through the hedge of stakes, while others dismounted and continued the attack on foot, uprooting the stakes as they went. A continuous rain of arrows did little against the thick armour, and the French soon reached the main enemy line. Straight away, Bayezid ordered the Sipahis on the flanks to join the fighting, seeing that his formation in the centre began falling apart almost immediately upon impact. In close combat, the regular Turkish infantry was getting slaughtered by the dismounted knights, whose armour seemed impervious. The elite Janissaries too could only fight on the back foot, overwhelmed by the number of knights facing them, although they started inflicting losses on the Christians. Nevertheless, the advance continued, and even Bayezid was taken aback by the ferocity of the Crusader assault. Despite half of them being on foot, the armoured knights drove off the Sipahi cavalry, mauling everything in front of them. Bayezid ordered the remnants of his Akinjis, infantry and Sipahi cavalry to reform the line in order to slow down the incoming Hungarians, who were approaching to reinforce the Crusader vanguard. At this point, some of the older French commanders wanted to stop the advance, to consolidate the line and link up with Sigismund, but the young knights urged the men on. Convinced that the battle was almost won, they were eager to continue forward in the hope of plundering the Ottoman camp. The Sultan sent in the Capiculu Sipahis, realizing that the battle had reached a critical point. The elite Ottoman cavalry descended upon the Crusaders, gradually surrounding their position. In the desperate fight that ensued, John of Nevers, commander of the French contingent, was captured. This was a blow to the morale, but nevertheless the Crusaders fought on, staving off charge after charge of the elite Capiculu. Seeing John's banner falling, Sigismund ordered a full charge in a desperate attempt to establish contact with the knights in the vanguard. However, Wallachian and Transylvanian troops withdrew, choosing to preserve their forces, apprehensive that a disaster has befallen them. But the battle was not over. Upon dispersing the screen of Akinjis, the Hungarians fell upon the reformed but much depleted Ottoman line. The battered Turkish footmen could not withstand the fresh troops and were broken soon after. Sipahi cavalry pressed forward, desperate to stop Sigismund's advance. Akinjis launched another attack. Undeterred, the Hungarian king pushed on. Getting ever closer, it seemed that the tired Ottoman troops could not stop Sigismund. If he could link up with the knights in the front, the battle would be won. But then, Bayezid played his trump card, sending the Serbian knights forward. Seeing that the overwhelmed Ottoman line could break at any moment, Stefan spurred his horse on, leading the charge towards the Hungarian flank. The shock of the charge was devastating. Serbian knights ploughed through the enemy, causing Sigismund's right flank to collapse within minutes, stopping the Hungarian attack dead in its tracks. Soon, remnants of the line routed towards the safety of their fleet on the Danube. King Sigismund reportedly said, "We lost the battle by the pride and vanity of those French." The now isolated French knights kept fighting, but their numbers slowly dwindled, and it was only a matter of time before their strength gave out. The bulk of the Crusader troops were destroyed or captured. 3,000 prisoners were brought before the Sultan and executed on the spot, as revenge for the massacre of 1,000 Ottoman prisoners prior to the battle, while the rest were ransomed or enslaved. A small portion of the army, including Sigismund, escaped. Ottoman losses were also high, particularly in infantry, several thousand of which perished. But Bayezid's victory was complete.